Welcome back, YouTube, to Peterson Auto. Got the 93 back, and just to give you a little teaser quick, that is an 8.8 rear, and those are 5 lug wheels and tires. So future video, hint hint, but for now, fortunately inspection runs out in about a month on this, and I have that wonderful rot hole here. The other side was just as bad. I've already started on it though. Yeah, it's gaping. It's not very sturdy. And it does go into the actual body, so it needs replaced. So guess what today, YouTube? Today is a metalworking, sheet metal, rust repair kind of day. Alright, YouTube, as you can see, I have a hole that has been cleaned and decently well prepped up. I got a little more to do, but I just cut out the rot and kept cutting, got something roughly square. It's more horribly trapezoidal shape. See that little drain there? Little tiny drain is what was actually plugged up with dirt and caused the rot. It happens. Once you get through, unfortunately, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So clean your quarter panel drains. You can always stick something up from underneath even. You know, it is pretty good on the back side. Might need a little bit there. There's a couple spots I can see through. I don't know if seam sealer will take care of that or not. But other than that, the inner structure ain't bad. It was just the outer skin. So we made a patch panel for it then, which is right here. Go ahead, Si, show your patch panel off. My helper's been helping me today. It's roughly the size. Now put the patch panel up to the hole. It's a little big, as you can see. I always cut my patch panels bigger and work them down. It's easier to take metal off than it is to add metal on. But I did make a fairly nice 90 right here, which will match up with this fairly nice 90 right here on the patch panel. And then we just need to trim it down. So my next step is working the patch panel down until it's going to fit in the hole. Yeah. Yep. You're going to help with that, Si?
Yep.
See, my little helper? It's sunny out today.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of a deeper notch here I'm going to have to work with, along with this part here. Don't touch that, that's sharp.
And with that part, and with that part?
Yep, and this part here is a little rough too,
Yeah.
which I'll probably straighten them out, clean them up a little bit with the cutoff wheel when I get to that.
And when I clean the car.
Yep, the car needs clean too, but that's after we get this fixed, okay?
Okay.
As you can see right in here, I've gotten it down to some bare metal. It's kind of hard to see with all the dust on it, but I'll clean it off at one point, maybe even after welding. And I got all the rust off the interior panels here. So I got some good etching primer I'm going to put on that. Let that dry. Get this rest of this cleaned up some. My patch panel, I'm going to make another little one for here. Just because it's such a small spot that bumps up so close to this plastic molding, which I know is damaged. But I'd rather not melt it, and I'd rather keep it kind of there in place. So I'm going to make a tiny little panel for here after I get the big one done. So like I said, next step is shaping this. That curve was just bent over my knee. Put a little bit of twist in there. Kind of a lost art. You just gotta feel for what feels right. But you know, a little bend here, a little bend there. Get it as close as you can within reason. Don't spend 6.5 hours shaping it for something that's you know, this broad of a curve like this. Because when you weld it in, you'll be able to modify it and move it just a little bit to get everything to line up, and I'll show you that process then. For now, I'm just going to keep trimming it down and getting it a little closer to shape, and we'll be back. Alright, YouTube, you can see my panel's pretty close. I got the top really good. I got this curved side really good. And the 90 here wasn't perfect. Well, this 90 on the patch was perfect. The 90 on the car wasn't. So I'm going to do a little bit of cutting on that still. The bottom's pretty close the whole way across. My little magnets aren't holding the best. But before I touch that too much and it falls down, we're going to go ahead and probably put a couple tacks across the top here, 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 down in here. Tack down this side also and get that into place. And then start working the bottom in, which at that point you can push it with a hammer or a pair of pliers or whatever you have. And then over here on this side, when we get to it, we're just going to take the cutoff wheel, we're going to trim that one wheel width right off the edge and go through both panels. Once this one's securely attached to here, trimming off that won't be a problem at all. Give a little more touch up here to do on the clearing of the paint, so it's bare metal. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get this panel in, get a couple tacks on it, and show you how I'm doing it. For now, we're going to get that out of the way. You can see I hit the etching primer on the back side. You know, I just wanted to put something there to cover the bare metal that I cleaned all the rest off of. And that something happened to be etching primer. I like etching primer. This is the Duplicolor here. So, is what it is. We'll see how it works. Never used that one before. And just so you know, if I don't cover it later, for the welder, I'm using good old Miller-Matic 180 with auto set. Love the zoom on this camera. So you pretty much just pick your thickness. I think this is somewhere around 18 gauge that I'm patching in here. It's probably like 16 on the car and 18 on the actual panel. But yeah, we'll pick our setting then when we get to it. And then you just wire speed based on your wire size. Real easy auto set welder. And you can fine tune your wire speed there if you need to. But if you just put it on your wire thickness, which I'm using an 030 wire, makes it real easy to set that. You know, kind of idiot proof, especially when you're not welding every day, or you know, you're working with different thicknesses of material all the time, have trouble remembering what to use for what. That's why I like this welder. Really nice little welder. But yeah, so I'm gonna get this put in place, a little more cleanup here, put it in place, and probably get you a couple shots of me tacking it in too here. Alright YouTube, well, best welders are good grinders. Honestly, I haven't used this welder in probably about a year now, and I have never used it on anything this thin, so there's a little trial and error. Plus, I had a bad ground, so this is kind of crappy up here, I know. I was also blowing through in some spots, just because it is a little thinner than I actually thought it was, so I had to adjust my amperage and everything. But by the time I got over here, I got it pretty well figured out. So you can see these welds are pretty good. Shouldn't take much grinding on those at all. That's ideally what you want. You know, can't always have an ideal world. I did have to stack up here some, just working the settings and everything. But that's ready to be ground down whenever you wanna. Sometimes I'll grind a little bit and then weld a little bit and grind a little bit and weld a little bit. But I'm also running low on gas and it's extremely hot out here, so we're just gonna go ahead and do all the welding, then do all the grinding. Next step though is to cut right down through here. Maybe a little trimming on the bottom to get this to sit flush. Let's see if we can get you a good view there. Hopefully that shows something. Yeah, there's the ground clamp right there. See, so that edge is a little heavy down here, and we need to trim this down so it'll sit flush. But the goal here is, I got this fancy sandable primer around here somewhere. It's a high build sandable primer. I'm actually not planning on doing any Bondo. You're saying, wow, really? Yes, really. As I said earlier, the best welders are also the best grinders. So, you know, it's all about that post cleanup there to make it look pretty, especially on sheet metal. If you go slow and smooth and don't hit it too hard, you shouldn't have any problems. Might have to go and get myself a flat disc, but it is solid there. We do have the curve pretty good. Once I get a trim there and a trim here, we'll be able to push that right back. I have my handy dandy broken tip screwdriver, which you can use for such prying and maneuvering. You need to pry it out just a little bit to line it up. Hold it, tack it, and you're good. Doesn't take much to do that. But yeah, panel's attached. It is now part of the car. We're gonna finish making it fully a contributing member to the car's body. So I'll probably set up and get you a little bit of welding shots here. Not sure what you're gonna actually see, but we'll get you something. Alright, YouTube, welder's on. Whenever you weld, make sure you use proper welding gear and equipment, like a welding helmet. You will most likely see very shortly I don't have one on, or welding gloves, which I'm missing. Sorry for the crappy lighting. I put up a board to give me a little shade to work in because it's about 85 out today and I'm not used to the heat yet this summer, so but I'm gonna put some crappy welds on that big gap there, some crappy welds down here, a good weld in the center, and probably some crappy welds back here. Just because I did make a mistake and cut too much off the bottom, unfortunately, so I'm going to be working around that. But we're going to try to get this panel roughly in place for you and hopefully get onto the grinding stage soon. So here's a couple live action welding shots, YouTube. Remember, safety first. Okay, YouTube, fully welded in except for that hole. I'm going to start some grinding now. You know, I did my filler pieces in the bottom to take up the gap a bit. This welder does not like large gaps on thin sheet metal, so guess I gotta get things a little more precise. Not a big deal. Live and learn, like I said, first time actually welding anything this thin with this particular welder. So always a learning experience. A little bit of gunk in there, could have cleaned it off some. But grinder will clean it up, and we won't have a hole in this side. Well, once I do a little part there. So we're going to hit with the grinder, get it all nice and pretty for you, and then come on back. Alright, YouTube, here's after a good bit of grinding. I have a huge valley here. Unfortunately, it looks like it did warp a bit and twist both panels inward. But it's inward, so, I mean, I could always cover that with some filler. That is roughly straight. You can see the gap. Yeah. So we'll hit that with some filler, but I mean, that's not too bad. The other thing is, if I wanted to, I could always heat it up and pull it out some. I don't have a torch here, and nor do I want to put the time into it to heat it. Also, this corner is kind of sucking with grinding, so I may just put a skim coat on that. But, you know, if I really wanted to work it, I could get it done no filler. But I don't really want to put that much work into it, so we're going to put some filler on it. I got to finish up this upper edge some. There's a dent here in the quarter too. Probably can't see it there. But that dent is probably giving a little bit of tweak to this panel, along with, don't know if you'll see it or not, there's also a dent behind this piece of molding. You know, nothing really major. This is going to be my race car anyway. It's going to be designed to go fast. I just want to get the rest taken care of. before it becomes too much of a problem. So, you know, that being said, we're going to finish up the grinding a little bit more and fill little tiny holes here and there. Just fill them up quick, grind it down a little more, and finish this little patch here. You know, occasionally you will get that, especially where you have to build it up so much to, you know, and you're blowing through and everything. So that's no big deal. This one came out great. The whole bottom came out pretty nice, actually. There we go. A little better shot of the bottom. Came out pretty nice. I can smooth this part here some still. This is actually really good. And I'm going to clean all this up here. It's all surface rust anyway. So clean all that up. And we'll have a nice, clean, rust-free quarter panel at that point. And then we have to do it again for the other side. So YouTube, I'm going to get working on the smaller things here and fine details and try to get back to you here in a few minutes. Well, YouTube, right here's where that body molding was. It comes across right here. I got up right below the molding and it was just blowing through. There was too much corrosion on the backside, so I pulled the interior apart, checked that out, looked into it, yada 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 yada. 43 things later, realized I had to take it off, took it off, welded it in a bigger patch than I was planning. So yeah, we're gonna slap some filler on it. I mean, we have that little divot here already. I didn't grind the welds down perfect because they're gonna be under the filler anyway. So there's maybe a 16th protruding up. We'll put some spot putty on that, and that'll come out pretty nice. Same thing with the rest of the welds through here. A little bit of waviness to it. You know, I did what I could with a dent in there with what I had. It'd probably be better to replace the whole panel, but you know, again, it's probably gonna get dented again in its life. So I'm gonna probably go ahead and do a little bit of prep work today, and get that etching primer on here at least, definitely. But I'm gonna hit the rest of this with the sandpaper and try to sand it down some. Get something for the etching primer to bind to. But our welding is now done, and there's no more rot. So again, this isn't the fanciest repair. This is one of those things that it's your daily driver beater type of car. You know, it's not really fancy, or you don't really care about the looks too much, but you don't want the rust, or you need to get you know, you need to just get past inspection, whatever. That will definitely do it for you there. You know, and then since the giant fireball in the sky seems to be disappearing quite fast there behind that telephone pole, I'm going to just get it sealed up enough for tonight that it's not going to rust. Okay, YouTube, here's the next day. Still a little tiny low spot there, which I may try to just push out. But other than that, we're pretty good. So low spot, I don't know what to do with yet. We'll see. This is just a sandable primer. I haven't sanded anything yet. Just put it on there to build up, just to build material, you know, so I have something to sand off. Down here, we're obviously going to do a little bit of filler work. It's not too bad. This part's kind of bad, but I really only need to filler it out to right about here where my thumb is, because that's where the body line is for the molding. You can see the witness mark there where the molding went. So if I can get it up to there, good, and then underneath, if it's a little wavy or anything, we're not worried too much about that. We're just, again, something you can do in your backyard to save you that $3,000 rust repair on, you know, your good running driving vehicle. So, you know, that being said, we have a couple little other spots like here and here, there, we're going to take care of quick. And there's one up to the front. It's just chips in the paint, dings and whatnot. Plan today is to finish all that up, mask, and shoot some paint after the filler's done. So I'm going to get ready to get the filler done, try to maybe pop this little crease out a little bit. If not, we'll put some filler on it just because we already got it out. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we wanted to do a patch without any filler, which was pretty close to being possible actually. But I had this issue going on here, so after I noticed that this was dipped down a little bit, I thought, why not go ahead and just put a thin coat of filler on it to smooth everything out. You know, it's in an area that's going to get some rocks and whatnot hitting it, but you know, this isn't a off-road vehicle. I'm not too concerned about rocks, and we're just going to do a quick paint job. If it was something where, you know, I was being paid by the hour at a body shop, I would definitely heat this up, bring it out some, and would have taken a little more time on panel fitment. But this is a get it done in a weekend so I can pass inspection job. So I decided last night we're going to divide this into 2 videos. So this is going to be the end of our first video on the metal working. And our next video is going to be the actual bodywork section of it. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Peterson Auto. Also, check out the next video.